Nigerian security agencies, our bandits have continued to visit some mayhem, sorrow, and tears and bloods on their citizens in many parts of this country, most especially at the Middle Belt and Plateau State, precisely, leaving a trail of that. And now, as the question many people will continue to ask, as the Nigerian security architecture failed, are Nigerian security agencies overwhelmed, or are they incapacitated to handle all of those concerns? Have successive Nigerian government been able to handle and treat the escalating insecurity challenges we have in the country? Professor Ibrahim is live here on the show to analyze all of these developments. Thanks so much, Prof, for being part of the show tonight. Let's begin with Plateau State. It's a very sad day. 51 corpses have so far been discovered, even when some persons said it may be more than 51 that have been attacked by herdsmen. This time, lives, blood shed have been wasted. Where is the failure for this situation? Who are those to be blamed? Who do we point our fingers to? And beyond pointing fingers to, how do we begin to address all of these issues from repeating itself again? Because these are lives of Nigerians, that have been wasted.
Good evening. I don't think it is a time for blame game or whatever. We are not pointing accusing finger to anybody. They should know the right thing to do if they are actually adequately ready to do the needful. In this time, we shouldn't call anybody the herdsman, because there is no herdsman anywhere. We should look at the indices. There is no need calling anybody the herdsman. We have not arrested herdsmen to say who confess that they are the people adequately doing this. So if anybody masquerade as a herdsman, then it becomes very, very difficult for us to address the issues. The situation is bad, but don't call the kettle black, whereas the pot is also black. We saw the situation that happens in Edo. They said the herdsmen. Where are the herdsmen? So we have already given a name to it, that it is herdsmen, it is the Fulani, Marandas, and the rest. This has nothing to do with the herdsmen. We should go back to redesign our security to fit in what is rightly attainable. What is rightly attainable before we start painting some class of people what they are not. We have given names, we have called a lot of names, and these are not yielding any results, because anybody can disguise to be anybody. I was waiting for people to tell us and come up and tell us the truth of the situations. The management, the administrators, the managements, and the operatives of our security agencies should come and tell us the truth of what is really happening. They should not masquerade anything. It should be an open thing. The governor is saying that he has wasted a lot of money on security. What's security? Security, and people say the security architecture is failing. There was never an architecture. What security designs do we have? What have we done to mitigate against the situations we have? We don't have anything we have done to mitigate the situations we have. We don't have any security design, not to talk of a development. So you have to design, you have to develop, then before you start talking of whatever architecture you have. An architect who is a graduate sitting at home has no design for whatever he wants it is. And that is the kind of situation we have here. We have men who call themselves security agents, but there is no design, in place, not to talk of development. So they have nothing to offer us as we talk. So it's only when we have a design that we not think of how to mitigate against what is happening. And we should also not blame any herdsmen.
So how do we describe this situation? Because they said they have left their farms. I mean, how do we even begin to look at who are those? I mean, should be involved, because you are saying that we shouldn't. I mean, do the name tagging, calling herdsmen, but they are leaving their farms. You know, they came to their families and their communities. You know, killed. You know, marched and all of those instructions. At what interest should a group of persons or a community be under a siege of this nature? Are they trying to get mineral resources? What is the interest? These are the things that must be also be validated from all of this. So if they're saying that it is herdsmen who are always coming to their community, these are the first time, these are the second time, again and again and again.
Okay, I want to come to the plateau. We all know that from the 60s to the 70s, what is always, not even before the 60s, but let me talk of the 60s to the 70s. Plateau was the home of tin and columbite and other minerals. What have we done to safeguard these deposits? And who are the people who are exploiting these deposits? What is the indices of the Ministry of Solid Minerals coming in to say this is what we get from the plateau? Nobody has told us anything up to today. Nothing has been done about it. And now that there are some frameworks on the mining sector, a lot of people are coming out to trap on that sector to make sure that there is no framework to implement the government policies. In doing that, they have stagnated the system to divert the attention of the government and the people from the real cause of what we are receiving today in the plateau. Not only in the plateau, and other areas. Just as I always say, the poorest state in Nigeria can generate 200 billion US dollars. The poorest. So if you go back and look at these indices, will these people allow it because some people are involved? Will they allow the plateau to generate what they are supposed to generate? And also, is the state government serious to invest on the components they have in their states? The answer is no. So the political will is not there from state government because most of the governors are depending on the federal allocations, not what they can make out of their states. And that is not a presidential system of government. So they should come out and tell us this is exactly what is happening in our state. These are the people involved. And these are the people championing it. Not blaming it on one herdsman because you feel that when I say herdsman, everybody will listen to me. The people who are involved in this, how many numbers of them compared to the population of the state? What has the security of that state done to say, okay, this thing has happened repeatedly, mostly in the plateau. This has been going on for the past 20-something to 30 years. What have they done? They have not done anything. The state government has not come out with one action plan to mitigate the situation. It is a very small problem.
What approach should the state government or federal government or even the community or the local government begins to approach in the situations like this, because the moment it has gotten so high where people now feel they feel no longer safe, and the responsibility of government is to protect lives and properties, it gets to a point that it has escalated, and one may begin to say, what should be the approach in the situations of this nature? It is already happening in Plateau State. It took place some weeks ago in Benue State, Edo State. It might also happen again in another state. I know it has been happening in San Francisco and all of that.
I let me come to the incident. I will bring what approach we can use, but then I'm also going to bring the incident of what happened in Uromi, for example. The Edo State Security Network stopped a vehicle, saw that these were hunters, asked the hunters to come down. The hunters came down. They opened the boot of the vehicle. They saw guns. It's not as if these people were with the guns carrying them on their hands. And these are day guns, hunters' guns, and the rest. And the first demand was 10 million naira. I watched the footage from my system. I put on the satellite and watched the details of what was happening. They came down to 5 million. These people said, we are going for Salah. And we can give you something as this is a token because we are all celebrating it together. They insisted. And the same people, the security network, haul it on them, shouting that they are bandits and kidnappers. And you know what it means when you are blinded bandits and kidnappers. And the people, the villagers came in. And what happened? We lost a lot of people. Just because you are gullible, you want money. So do you call them bandits? Do you call them kidnappers? Did you call them herdsmen? Almost similar incident happens again just last week in Edo. Before they went to the hotel and found out that these people were not even in any hotel and these were not just Hawksy formations. But they were already arrested by the same Edo security network. So what are we after? Are you saying the average Fulani man must not move in the street? Because he will be branded a henchman or a bandit or a kidnapper? So we should first of all nip this to the mud. Then let's come to adequate system that we are not operating on. Let's come to the policing network. The policing network is at fault. These are not duties for the military or so. The policing network, you have to blame the SSS, State Security Service, and the police. Because they are supposed to have a very good training and a good background on policing network. From the grassroots policing, to the neighborhood policing, to community policing, to state policing, to national policing, to global policing, and policing the police. That is the whole idea of policing network. So nobody was trained on grassroots policing. Nobody was trained on neighborhood policing. So we went to community policing. And in community policing, we were just given a breakdown, which is sit on the fence and wash, which is not a comprehensive training for community policing. But let us say they have some training on community policing. But where in the world have you not gone to elementary school? You have not gone to secondary school or standard school, and you went to the university and performed credibly well. So we have to go back to policing network. The moment we go into the policing network, we will get all these things right. We will get it right. Then that is part of it. Secondly, we have not bring in what we call system security engineering into our practice, where technology now play a vital role in our security system. I just told you that from the comfort of my house, I know what happened in Edo. I don't need to go anywhere. I don't want any detailing from the Office of the National Security Advisor or from the IG or from the DSS or whatsoever. But it's costly, it's expensive for an individual to get footage of everything that happens around the country. So why is the government not deploying technology to make sure these things are well done? The time of closed circuit cameras has gone. The time of drones has gone. Drone is a passerby technology. It has gone. We are on cloud cameras. So the foreigners has every right to do whatever they are doing in the country because we are not using our experts. We are not using our specialists.
Do you feel that, hiring people to do those jobs or the recruitment of the process, we are missing it as a country?
We have missed it already. It's not we are missing it. We are missing it. Because you can't
Is it from the field? Are we not having the right hand on the field doing carrying out this order or this command of protecting the lives? Because if we issue, every state, because the governor said he has invested so much that, for instance, the governor of Plateau State, he said, with all of the investment he has carried out in terms of managing the insecurity levels in Plateau State, he never would have expected that, people, or as you said, a group could come in to kill more than 50 persons at a time in the community. So if we look at other states, some states will tell you this is what we are also doing in terms of getting a security right and all of that. So the big question now is, are the people that are doing the job, are they not professionals enough, or the people hiring them has to be questioned? Because we must begin to look at in the future of the nation how we can curtail situations of this nature.
So I want to also answer that with a question. Can I be in the comfort of my house and I will just be invaded? It's not possible. So where has these invaders come from? How do they get to where they are overnight? They pass through some channels to get to where they invaded. So what was the security doing at that period? Were they sleeping, or they were lying low, or waiting for them to invade and make a word out of it? Do they take any proactive measures that need to say, oh, this is what we did and we were overpowered? So you cannot just fall 52 people or more than that, or more than 50 people just from the clouds. It's not possible. So is it only one person that invaded the place? So that they said, we did not suspect this person. And how did they leave the place? Because it's not just a small house. It is an entire village. So how was the invasion carried out? So they should tell us what is actually happening. They should tell us.
Who are to inform us?
Who is the chief security officer of the state? I'm not the chief security officer of the
To the
state.
account of the governor.
And from the account, you are not the chief security officer
From
of the
the account
state.
of the governor, it might be different from what the office of the National Security Advisor may say. The governor, as I said, used the word herdsmen categorically on his broadcast.
Is that word herdsmen is what we have to kill. We have to kill the mindset of the people that these are not herdsmen. These are criminals. And how do we tackle these criminals?
All right. A lot to be worried about of the state of insecurity in our nation. Solving the problem of insecurity is becoming, a big questions in the room. But what more is approach and how these they can begin to provide better and various solutions to solving the problems of insecurity that we have in the country. Professor Ibrahim, thanks so much for joining us on the show. We know that you may never exhaust all of those concerns you may have with the security situations in this country, but we do hope that it get better because lives of Nigerians is at stake every time. Security matter is always a very emotional matter. I can see how you are very emotional about it. Thanks so much, Prof, for joining us on the show tonight. Everyone, we may never get exhausted, but the matter is that those involved, respective authorities must put their hands on deck to address the situation that we have in regards to our insecurity. The problem of insecurity needs our approaches and various solutions in tackling them. This is where we put it there tonight on the show. My name is Ediket Michael. Thanks so much for being part of the program tonight. We do hope to have you again join us tomorrow same time on the station. Bye-bye.